Curse techniques are born from negative emotion, fear, hatred, grief. Most are designed to kill. That's jujutsu. But a few techniques in this series aren't designed to kill you at all. What do you call a power that rewrites your soul without asking? A technique that turns people into ammunition? An ability that steals your body and wears your face for centuries? The most disturbing cursed techniques in Jujutsu Kaisen aren't the ones that deal the most damage. They're the ones that take away your right to be you. Cursed spirit manipulation, Geto Suguru's innate technique. Most people talk about how powerful it is. Nobody talks about what it did to him. Geto was Gojo's mirror. Same generation, same potential, opposite trajectory. He genuinely believed sorcerers existed to protect non-sorcerers. That was his whole identity. But his technique had a requirement Gege buried like a landmine. To add a cursed spirit to your arsenal, you don't seal it, you don't trap it, you swallow it, physically, every single one. Geto described the taste himself. Chapter 77. Like a rag soaked in vomit. Not once, thousands of times, over years.
No one else understands what cursed spirits taste like. Tastes like swallowing down a dirty rag used to clean up shit and vomit.
The disturbing part isn't deploying spirits in combat. That's the cool part. The disturbing part is the intake. Every cursed spirit is condensed human suffering given form. Geto's technique required him to consume concentrated misery, hatred, and fear. And he was told this was his duty. Cursed spirit manipulation didn't just give Geto an army. It force-fed him the worst of humanity while telling him to be grateful for the privilege. Most channels say Geto snapped. The truth is more surgical. His technique chemically eroded his empathy. You can't swallow concentrated suffering every day for years and keep believing the people generating it are worth protecting. His body rejected his ideology before his mind did. Gege didn't write a villain who chose evil. He wrote a man whose own power poisoned his worldview. The technique is the backstory. The technique that made Geto the most versatile curse user alive is the same one that made him unable to stomach being alive. But Geto's technique only violated him. The next one? It violates you, and the user has been doing it for 1,000 years. Kenjaku, over 1,000 years old. Not because of immortality, because of a technique that lets him cut open someone's skull, replace their brain with his own, and become them. Nobody knows Kenjaku's original face. His real body is long gone. He transplants his brain, physically, surgically, into another person's body, gaining their appearance, their cursed technique, their identity. He's been Noritoshi Kamo, the most evil sorcerer in history. He's been Yuji's mother. He's been Geto Suguru. Each time, the host dies, but their face keeps moving, keeps talking, keeps being used. The stitched scar across every host's forehead? That's not cosmetic. That's the surgical entry point. Kenjaku opens the skull, removes the brain, and installs himself. The original person is gone. Not trapped, not dormant, erased. But what makes this the most violating technique on a personal level is what happens after. Kenjaku doesn't just take your body, he takes your relationships. Gojo saw Geto's face on the enemy and hesitated. That hesitation nearly cost everything. Kenjaku weaponized a dead man's face against his best friend. Chapter 91. Gojo looks at Geto's stolen body and says the line, "You're my best friend, the one and only." That's not delusion. That's Gojo choosing to honor the person despite knowing the body's been hijacked. And Kenjaku smiles through Geto's face. That panel is violence disguised as a conversation? Honestly, that might be the most disrespectful thing anyone's done to a character in this series. And then there's Kaori Itadori, Yuji's mother. She was Kenjaku. Every maternal memory Yuji might have was Kenjaku performing motherhood to breed a vessel. Yuji's origin story isn't tragedy, it's a project. Kenjaku takes your body, erases your mind, uses your face, but the next technique does something even he never could. It takes your soul and turns it into a shape you don't recognize. Idol Transfiguration. Mahito, a cursed spirit born from humanity's hatred of each other, and a technique that treats the human soul like wet clay. Mahito isn't ancient, isn't powerful through experience. He's young, curious, almost playful, which makes him infinitely worse. He experiments on people the way a child pulls wings off insects, not out of malice, out of interest.
This is your conductor, Mahito. Now please stand clear as the train arrives for your death. To take you home, yes, to take you home.
His technique operates on a principle most sorcerers don't understand. In JJK, the soul shapes the body, not the other way around. Touch someone's soul and their physical form becomes negotiable. One touch, that's all it takes. Mahito reaches into your soul and reshapes it. Your body follows, instantly, irreversibly. Humans compressed into palm-sized balls of flesh. Still conscious, people stretched into weapons. Literal ammunition. Faces merged, limbs fused. Bodies folded into configurations that shouldn't sustain life but do because the soul is still intact. The body just obeys the new shape. Touch, reshape, done, no reversal, no RCT, reverse curse technique. You can't heal what isn't damaged. It's been redefined. Chapter 27. Junpei Yoshino, a bullied kid Yuji befriended. Mahito warps him mid-conversation. Not in battle, not strategically, as a demonstration.
誰だ待てマヒトさん悪い人じゃ悪い人順平はさまあ頭いいんだろうね順平って君がバカにしている人間のその次ぐらいにはバカ無意天変
Yuji watches his friend twist into something unrecognizable, still alive, still aware, and screams for Sukuna to fix it. Sukuna laughs. There is no fix. Junpei dies in a shape that isn't his. But what makes idol transfiguration the most disturbing technique in the series isn't the body horror. It's Mahito's philosophy. He doesn't see humans as people. He sees raw material. His technique isn't a weapon. It's a worldview made functional. Humans are shapeable, disposable, redefinable, and the terrifying part? The JJK power system validates him. Souls can be touched, bodies can be rewritten, the universe cooperates. Idol transfiguration isn't broken because it's overpowered. It's broken because it's philosophically correct within the rules of Jujutsu. Leave it to Gege to design a power that's basically a Geneva Convention violation with no cooldown, and give the user the personality of a curious teenager. The real cost isn't paid by Mahito, it's paid by everyone who witnesses it. Yuji carries every transfigured human he couldn't save. Shibuya, hundreds of civilians warped into monsters, thrown at sorcerers as living weapons. Each one was a person. The most disturbing thing about this technique isn't what it does to the body. It's the moment Yuji realizes he can't save them. Not won't, can't. What's left is just shape. And that's what Gege built this power system around. During Shibuya, Mahito didn't just fight sorcerers directly. He unleashed transfigured humans, civilians he'd already reshaped into mindless attack creatures, as foot soldiers. People who were walking to work that morning. Sorcerers had to cut them down to survive. Mahito didn't just use idol transfiguration as a weapon. He turned the victims into weapons. And the sorcerers who had to kill them, they became killers of the people they swore to protect. This is Gege's cruelest narrative device. He put his heroes in a situation where saving themselves meant destroying innocence. No clean version, no hero moment. Just survival at the cost of someone else's stolen humanity. That's not a cursed technique. That's an atrocity. Every technique on this list operates on the same principle. Not destruction, redefinition. Geto was redefined by what he had to consume. Kenjaku's victims are redefined into costumes. Mahito's victims are redefined into shapes. And the transfigured humans redefined into ammunition. In most anime, the scariest power is the one that kills you fastest. In Jujutsu Kaisen, the scariest power is the one that keeps you alive as something else. Because in Gega's world, there are things worse than dying. Every technique on this list proves it. Which curse technique actually unsettles you? Not the strongest, the one that sits wrong. Drop it in the comments. And if you want breakdowns that go past the surface, subscribe. We don't do